Hiya, welcome back to part 3 of the rebuild series. Car's over here, you'll want to look at that, not my ugly mush, so let's go and have a look. As you can see, it's back on its wheels. It's sitting pretty much where I want the ride height to be. Which is low. Obviously the suspension's back on to enable it to be back on its wheels, and as promised we start with the steering column, and I'll tell you what I've done there and how I've done it. So let's just get that out of the way. So it's a Corsa B, power steering motor, my own brackets and stuff, and I used a Mark II upper column mated to a Corsa column, so it's a bit of a hybrid up here, to allow me to use Mark II switchgear and stuff, but it's mainly because of this, the ignition barrel. On a Mark I Escort, the ignition switch and barrel are mounted much further down the column, and it would have clashed with the roll cage. Otherwise the motor would have been in an awkward position with the master cylinders from the bias brake pedal box. So yeah, it was a bit of a dick about, but using a Mark II upper column and switch, I could bring the switch forward to get the column in the right position, and also give me the advantage of using Mark II switchgear, which gets rid of all those switches that are normally placed in the dashboard and in the center console area. You know, the ones that people ask a fucking fortune for, and they're 50-year-old switches that are probably knackered anyway. So get rid of that lot, use Mark II switchgear. It's much more user friendly, much more ergonomic, and it tidies a lot of stuff up, which meant I used Mark II Escort steering column cowl, upper and lower shroud. So then I used the Mark II Escort trim panel, which normally houses the ashtray, and converted it. Used a billet plate. My mate Robin machined that up for me. I give him a drawing. I've inlaid some real carbon fibre and put a row of speed up gauges there. Similarly, this trim is off a 1300 GT, because they had a 6 o'clock dash and they had this aluminium trim, and I got rid of the horrible wood, the Formica plastic pretend wood, stripped that off, and I inlaid that with a strip of carbon to match. And then I made the centre console, made that out of some 3mm ply, covered it in leatherette, again used some real carbon fibre sheet to mount my switches and my bits and bobs and my stereo. That all plugged in to the wiring. I finished off the wiring, so I had a royal game getting the wire up the A post and then across to the interior light. I've replaced the original Mark I Escort one because the clips were broken off the side and you can't get them. So this one's from Car Builder Solutions, and it works really well. And there's also a supplementary light stuck to the cage at the back with a switch down by the driver's side, which obviously if you're looking at the roof, you can see that I've added the dynamat all over the roof. That's going to be trimmed. All the interior now is ready to be trimmed really. The driver's side seat mounts are in, and the foam is already, the carpet underlay is all done. The dash top, I've been using like a fiberglass replica dash top, which has been flopped. It's okay, but it ain't perfect. I want it to be perfect, so I've sourced an original Ford 6-style dash top, a couple of cracks in it. It's not a big problem. I've sent that off to Flock Speed up north, and he's going to flock that. He's going to cover the cracks, and he's going to do some magic around the vents for me. I'm not using the original Mark I Escort vents. They were pretty shit anyway. So I'm updating them with some much more modern vents that look a lot better, but they're smaller, so I need the dash top modifying to suit. So let's go and have a look now at the suspension and stuff at the front end. So all the front suspension's been fitted now. While it's up in the air and the wheels off, let's take you in for a closer look. So because I'm doing this one-handed, I'm going to use the aid of a little pointy stick. So this is a World Cup cross member from Rick's. The only difference is I fitted the bushes from Retro Power, which are slightly softer shore rating, so it transmits a little less vibration, but it gives nice clearance. It's got the Cosworth sump, which has been modified by G19 Engineering. The standard anti-roll bar has been ditched and it's been replaced by these tension links. So this tension link here can be adjusted by this rose joint, which pushes the track control arm forwards or rearwards and adjusts the caster of the strut. The anti-roll bar is joined to it by a rose jointed link. The track control arms, in situ adjustable, rubber bushed at the cross member end, again to give it a little bit more compliance. Cut down the noise a bit, so this will give me adjustable camber in situ, and obviously the toe is adjusted by the track rod ends. Up here there's a speed sensor and the wire goes off to the wiring loom. That speed sensor there picks up off a magnet mounted on the back of the brake disc and sends a signal to my electric power steering control module, so it's speed sensitive, just like it was in the original application. Brake discs are big fellas, 308mm vented, 28mm wide, mounted on alloy bells and alloy Group 4 hubs with the Group 4 studs, and then they're gas gold adjustable damping coilovers. Let me move that brake caliper around so you can have a better look at that. So the calipers are 4-pot Brembos. They're the biggest fuckers I could get underneath the 15-inch wheel, and even then I had to shave a bit of the casting off top and bottom for a bit of clearance. They're actually off a Vauxhall Corsa VXR Nürburgring edition. I did a special edition of it or something. The same calipers used on other hot hatch cars such as the Renault Megane RS and a few others. The advantage of them is that they're a proper road caliper, so they come with anti-rattle springs and dust seals around the pistons, unlike things like AP race calipers. You have to strip and rebuild them. These are meant to go thousands of miles in between, nothing more than a brake pad change really. And the best thing is I bought them brand new from a Vauxhall dealer off eBay for 400 quid. Just looking a bit further, so this is the G19 sump. I've added a couple of things to it. So this boss here is for an oil temperature sender, and then this is for an oil drain below oil level, so it's not affected by engine breathing, for the Bailey catch tank. There's a better look at the track control arm and stuff. And the air pipe is a vacuum pipe which goes to the servo, which is mounted under the dash, and then through the inner wing and off to the inlet manifold to pick up the vacuum. Elsewhere, I've tucked a couple of horns up under the front wing below the headlight, and the rest of it's all pretty much standard fare. Again, while we've got the car in the air, I'll just show what else I've been doing underneath here. So the handbrake cable's all connected up now onto the calipers. They're just Sierra Cosworth rear calipers. I fitted the prop after I give it a lick of paint. The prop actually come with the engine and gearbox package, and it was a custom made T5 to Atlas prop shaft. All the joints, all the CV joints are new, and but it looked pretty battered, to be fair, so I rubbed it all down and gave it a coat of smooth right. I think it's come out pretty well. I like smooth right, it's good stuff. It's quite hard wearing, resistant to petrol and oil. And that's pretty much all there is to see underneath. So with the suspension on, I could now fit my intercooler and radiator. The intercooler and the rad are custom made by Radtech in Cannock. It's an RS500 intercooler. You can just see behind there, and it fills up the full space right from the top right to the bottom. It's the biggest thing you can get in there. There is no more room, and it's massive, and it's about 4 or 5 times the size of a standard 3-door or Sapphire intercooler, so it should be enough to cool the boost down. The rad again is aluminium. It's a 60mm core, and I had Radtech make a big header tank for it to replicate like what was on the twin cams and stuff, but it also gives a lot more expansion room, and it saves me running a remote header tank that you usually see on Cosworth YB conversions. With a cooling pack fitted, I could then obviously fit my upper and lower hoses. My boost pipes are held on by Murray clamps, constant tension clamps. Here's the cold side boost pipe with a Graham Good Racing dump valve. Something you might notice under the bonnet, I think it's a lot tidier. Previously, this fuel injection rail, which feeds all the 4 injectors, was anodised gold. I thought it looked a bit tarty, to be honest, and I wanted to dull it down a bit. And then also I wanted to make a shield to cover the injectors, because if we look at the bonnet, where there are 2 vents in to let all the hot air out, they've also got a potential to let a load of water in. Now that's not a problem on the hot side of the motor, but on the cold side, that vent would be pretty much directly over my injectors and the wiring to the injectors. Now they're all waterproof plugs, so it shouldn't be a huge problem, but I thought 2 birds with 1 stone. I can tidy up the wiring so you don't see it, and also protect the injectors. So I fabricated a little L-shaped bracket that I had TIG welded to this billet rail, and then from that I bent some sheet aluminium round. I had to put a bit of a cutout in for the breather, but that really nicely covers all the injectors and the wiring and makes it look a lot neater under the bonnet. I buffed it up, sent it to the anodizers, had it anodized black. At the same time, I had the XYZ Fabrications call-on plug brackets anodized black, so they look really nice and smart. And then my heater bezel on the bulkhead, I had that anodized gold to match the sides, so it's looking a lot neater and pretty much finished under the bonnet now. So with the suspension on, I could fit the bumper irons and obviously then the bumpers. So they're brand new chrome quarter bumpers from Magnum Panels. They look and fit really nice, and then I could get the car back down on the ground to working level, and after having it on the sill stands for so long, it's surprising how little the car is. Obviously the next big thing, which makes it look really finished, is getting all the glass in. So both the front and the rear screens are from Ricky Evans in Tamworth. The front screen was custom made for me. It's obviously a Mk1 Escort laminated screen. It's heated with twin elements, one either side, but I had it tinted green to match the rest of the glass. The rear screen from Ricky Evans Motorsport is a straightforward toughened glass, green tinted, heated rear window. All the rubbers from COH Baines, they were a really good fit, so really lucky with that. The side glass come from Dave McKay off Facebook, and the reason for that is he was the only guy that was doing replacement quarter light glasses for opening quarter lights. If you remember, I started off, I was going to use opening quarter lights on the car. No one did the glass for him apart from Dave McKay. So I had a special green ones made for me. Then I changed my mind. I'd already fitted the door glass. I'd got the side glass. And fortunately Dave had some fixed quarter light green glass, so it all matches. And the tint matches as well all the way around. And it looks superb. So back inside the car, I'll show you the heated rear window elements and routed neatly into the C-posts on both sides, and that runs down to a relay mounted in the boot. And moving towards the front, I've pre-drilled the dash, and that's your left hand side element, and your right hand side element. The feed and the ground pop through a pair of grommets either side. They're wired into timed relays which are adjustable. So on my switch panel I've got a pair of momentary switches for the front and the rear heated screens, and the timer will automatically turn them off after 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you set it at, or you can manually flick them off, which I thought was a pretty neat trick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a montage. Do you like that word? It's a bit fancy, isn't it? Taken off my CCTV camera of me and my pal Andy having some real fun and games fitting this bloody glass and the brand new seals. So I apologise for the camera quality. The exposure was all over the place because we had the door open to let a bit of wind through because it was a flipping hot day. But you'll get the picture. And after that we'll return back to a walk around the car. Oh, that's bloody typical. When my good pal Andy was round helping me fit the screens and the rubbers, I was waiting for these, and they were lost or delayed or something, and they've halfway through shooting this video, they've turned up in the post. So that's another little fun job I can be getting on with. Not a lot gone on in the boot area, really. Oh yeah, there. So in the dry build, I'd welded some bosses into the boot floor above the chassis rail, and they support this lift jack, which is a Bilstein jack. It's actually out of some 80s Mercedes. Don't ask me which model, can't remember. It come from a scrapyard. But it's a really nice quality jack. It's got loads of lift on it, and it goes really low, and it fits my sill jacking points perfectly. So hopefully I never have to use it, but it's there if I need it. Back inside the car, with all the front suspension on, and obviously the brakes, I could bleed the brakes. Immediately come across a problem as I was starting to bleed them. The dual servo, which is mounted up here because there's no space for it anywhere else, has got two bleed nipples on it to get the air out, and that's the highest point of the system. One of the bleed nipples just went round and round and round. It was completely stripped. I'd never touched it. I'd only ever mounted it just for mocking up and for routing the pipes. I bought it back in 2019 from Car Builder Solutions. I rang them up and they was as good as gold. Nearly 5 years later, they just sent me another one out the next day. So that's been fitted, and I need to re-bleed the brakes, and I'll start again with that. So that's pretty much it for part 3. Pretty much where I'm up to. It's been quite a lot of stuff done. Doesn't look like it, but it's really coming along now. The day we get to start it up is getting ever closer. There's a fair bit to do before I start it up, to be honest. It's got a brand new link ECU, and I need to program it. I need to tell it which of the pins go to which sensors, and set up a lot of the safety things in there, so the fuel cut off, and based on oil pressure and temperature, and all these bits and bobs. And before I can check it and see that I've got a spark, I've got to put some fuel in the thing. Haven't done that yet. It's got coolant in it, and it's got oil in it, and I've spanned the oil pump up and got plenty of pressure around, and the pressure's recorded on the gauge, so that's good. That's all healthy, no problems there. Next to be put some fuel in that tank in the back, and pressurise that system, check for leaks, because it's all brand new. It's all new connectors and all new pipe work that I've done myself. And then it'll be time to flick it over, fire in the hole. Maybe the next video will be the first startup for it. Like I say, there's a lot of snags and niggles I need to go around the car, and I want to get all them sorted first and just tackle one section at a time. It's stood me well so far, and the build's coming along exactly how I want it to come along. And loads of people rush me, when you're going to start it, when you're going to start it. I'll start it when I'm ready, and hopefully it'll be soon. So thanks for watching. You're really welcome to contact me with your messages or your questions and stuff, and I'll see you next time. See ya.